Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Welcome to Google Trends Hub. Today we're going to dive into a fascinating story about how Amazon and Google claim Microsoft's cloud licensing practices are creating a barrier for companies looking to switch from Windows-based infrastructure. You know, when it comes to the cloud, one of the biggest decisions companies face is where to host their applications: Azure, AWS, or maybe even another provider like Google Cloud Platform. But here's the thing. If you're already heavily invested in Microsoft Windows, it can be a major challenge to make the switch. As we take a look at what Amazon and Google are saying about this issue, we see that Microsoft's cloud licensing practices have changed over time. In 2019, the company started requiring separate licenses for hosting virtualized versions of their servers on other platforms like Oz or Google Cloud Platform. This means customers now pay up to 4 times more to run Windows Server VMs on these platforms compared to Azure. Now you might be thinking, well, why not just port everything over to Linux and tell Redmond to get stuffed? But the problem is, traditional enterprise customers don't start from scratch when switching to the cloud. They're often already highly dependent on Microsoft Windows, which makes it difficult for them to make a smooth transition. In fact, Google's report suggests that companies that try to switch to Linux may take several years and come at significant expense, a challenge many enterprises just can't afford. And if you look at Amazon's numbers, 70–80% of Azure's revenue comes from customers using Windows Server and SQL Server. That's a huge chunk of the market. So what does this mean for competition? Well, Google is saying it's not competitive for IaaS workloads with a material Windows footprint. And while AWS agrees that switching to Linux can be done in certain cases, it notes that re-architecting and rewriting applications to run on Linux takes years and comes at a significant cost. Now we know Microsoft thinks its pricing practices are fair. They claim they're walking a tightrope between not charging too little for their software and incentivizing customers to switch away from their platform. But what do you think? Should companies be able to make the choice of where to host their applications without being locked into a particular vendor? We'll have to wait and see how the Competition and Markets Authority responds to these concerns, but one thing's for sure: this is an issue that's going to continue to shape the cloud market in years to come. Stay tuned for more updates from Google Trends Hub.